Thank you.
Oh, mic check. You bet.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Cruz.
Hello, Madam President.
Hi, Mr. Cruz.
Hey,
Hi,
Vice
how
President.
you
How are
doing?
you? Doing great, thank you. I hope you are as well, all of you.
Is it council on? Is Councilman
Councilman
on?
Rodriguez, I've been muted a couple of times.
Okay. And then is Councilwoman Vaughn on?
Yes, she is.
Yes, Council President.
Thanks. And is Councilman Blakely, is he on? No, Councilman Blakely, but we still have a quorum. So I'm going to proceed. Mr. Berry, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
This meeting is being called to order. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to Public Laws 1975, Chapter 231. This agenda is complete to the extent known and was sent to the Trenton Times and the Trentonian newspapers, posted on the city's website, and filed in the city clerk's office. Formal action will be taken. Roll call, Mr. Berry.
Councilman Blakely. Councilman Blakely.
Present.
Councilwoman Caldwell-Wilson.
Present.
Councilman Harrison.
Present.
Councilman Michelle.
Present.
Councilman Rodriguez.
Present.
And Councilwoman Vaughn.
Present.
And Councilwoman McBride.
Present.
Mr. Berry, I'm here.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Invocation.
Yes. Almighty God, who holds the fate of man and nation, we most humbly beseech thee to bless this our city, these deliberations, and these thy servants, that they may act with wisdom and understanding for the good of our community and thy greater glory. Amen.
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 Okay.
Amen.
Amen. Good. The FYI 20 budget, there's some amendments to be made to that, and we're going to have a presentation by B.A. Cruz and the CFO, Janet Schoenhauer.
I can't hear Janet at all. She's very muffled.
I'm not talking. I wasn't talking.
Oh, who is that?
I don't know. I don't know who that is.
It's somebody on David Smith's line.
Oh, sorry. I'll mute myself.
Thank you.
Okay, there was
Everybody has
a,
to mute themselves.
Mr. Cruz supposed to be on with you, Janet?
yes, is he there?
He was.
Yes, I am here. I had muted myself.
All I have to say is that the resolution on the first page of the amendment, the amendment resolution, there was a typo, and instead of the $72,714,560 in the item number 3, miscellaneous revenue, section B, state aid without offsetting appropriations. The number should have been $77,214,560. It was a difference of the $4.5 million that didn't calculate right. But it doesn't make any, that number didn't make any difference in any of the other numbers. The total number came out right, and if you look in your budget, that the number in the budget is the 77 million.
Any questions from council?
Can you,
Yeah. It's Robin Vaughn. Is that inclusive of the 4.5 million?
The 72 on the interference on the line.
Somebody needs to be,
Wait a minute.
hold on.
This is for our support tech. I need you to shut the lines down if they're not, Janet, Schonenhart, or Adam Cruz, or Councilwoman Vaughn.
So you want everybody else to get off the phone?
No.
Hello?
No. I want them to be muted because we have a presentation about the budget. And so the councilwoman is asking questions. And so we have to make sure that all parties hear.
That's okay.
so I just, Ms. Schoenhardt, I just wanted to ask you about how the impact of the $4.5 million, the transitional aid, that line item. How are you considering that in the budget?
It's in the budget as a transitional aid and a separate line item. Just like it was in the amendment. It was not changed. I'm talking about in the amendment, in the resolution 20-249 that there's a public hearing on. There was an addition error when they went through this, when I looked at this one section on the first page, there was an addition error, and it said, and the amount said, it said miscellaneous revenues, section B, state aid without offsetting appropriations, and it had the number of 72,714,560. Okay, so when we did the actual legal document, the budget that you received, hopefully, it would have shown that the amount was 77,214,560. Okay, and that's what the number should have been. It doesn't change anything else in the budget. The total number at the end of the budget is still the same number. It was just an addition error in the amendment resolution.
Okay, but I just wanted to get clarity on the description as well. So what is the description on the 4.5 million appropriation?
In the amendment it's called, this is what the DCA wanted us to call it. It's called TA-Police Real-Time Crime Center.
Okay, is Mr. Morelli or Mr. Cohen or Mr. Kaloji on the line?
Mr. Cohen is here.
Okay. There has been multiple inquiries about this entry and changing the language so we can really identify, what it is going to be used for, and to the extent the city of Trenton and its government has any purview of the funds and uses of determining the uses of those funds. So where are we with that?
It's my understanding
was supposed to come back and give us some further input, advice on it.
Sure. My understanding is that Tina from DCA has clarified that these funds must be utilized for the residents of Trenton. In other words, for Trenton to benefit the citizens of Trenton.
Pete?
That's my understanding.
Yes, I understand. I saw that note from Mr. Morelli because that did not come from DCA. That was commentary that Ms. Morelli had given us in an email. But we haven't gotten any direct guidance or directive from DCA. So as far I would like to see that in writing and amend it in her a revision of that of the DCA recommendation letter, right? So I would like to see that recommendation letter reissued with the appropriate language that indicates not only it benefits the city of Trenton, because I would think the state police barracks, no matter where it's located in New Jersey, is going to benefit not only the city of Trenton, but other municipalities. So I don't think that language is dedicated to the city of Trenton. Those monies, what I'm specifically asking is the government, that 4.5 transitional aid was appropriated by the governor to the city of Trenton to fund our municipality. So do we not have governance of that money and the decision-making capacity to determine how we are going to use it to service to fund our municipality and its services?
Madam President, if I may.
Yes, go right ahead, Mr.
No. I want the law department to answer that question.
It doesn't seem as Mr. Cohen has the information that was forwarded to the council and Mr. Clerk yesterday on an email by Director Morelli, and I believe this is where the confusion is.
No, I got that email from Law Director Morelli, and I was not satisfied with it because it didn't come from DCA.
The actual language was ran by the Department of Community Affairs at the request. So if you can allow me to speak,
Council President.
So how can we answer if we are?
I read it and I understand what it says. I'm asking Mr. Cohen, and I responded to it, and I wanted the law department to go back and say that was unacceptable. And Mr. Kaloji, are you on the line?
Mr. Kaloji or his associate, he may be.
Yes, so I replied back to Mr. Morelli's comments.
Correct.
That DCA stated that, in essence, they would consider changing the language to benefit Trenton.
That is correct.
Yeah, but that did not come. That was Morelli's that was Morelli's interpretation. But I haven't seen that disseminated by DCA. I can't make a judgment on that line item until I get clear, until the recommendation letter that came from DCA is amended with the language that says the 4.5 transitional aid is for the city of Trenton. I mean, right now, it says that it's going to be used entirely to fund a state police facility, a build out of a state police facility. So what's the status, Mr. Cohen and Mr. Kaloji? Because I asked that this morning for you to come prepared to, with some information on that.
And the information that was provided to me, Councilwoman, is that this is a real-time crime center to be utilized by various different entities to benefit the city, the residents of the city of Trenton.
So in addition to the language,
the clarity that I have received.
So what DCA what Morelli stated in his email that he said that DCA told him, so it's like kind of hearsay in my opinion. If it's not in writing from DCA, it's hearsay and it's being interpreted by Mr. Morelli. And it says that if we don't accept that language, that it benefits Trenton, because again, anything that the state police does benefits every municipality in the state. So if the statement from Mr. Morelli says, and if we, the council, don't accept that, DCA will, pull the 4.5 million, right? State will
That
not
is
offer
my
us.
understanding, that it was specifically earmarked for this purpose, adding on to the transitional aid. So this is in effect, a supplemental transitional aid grant for this specific purpose.
So
That would be correct.
So the law department, so can you please provide us the instructions here? If we do not approve it so DCA is not willing to change the language, and if we don't approve it as it is today, then they're just going to pull the whole 4.5 million, correct? We're going to lose the 4.5 million, correct?
That is correct.
Yes, that's,
So, Mr.
my
Cruz,
understanding is that this was conditional, 4.5 million was conditional on us, on the state allocating this funding for the purpose of constructing this real-time police centers. That it was conditional.
This real-time state police center, not Trenton police a center.
All I know is that it states real-time crime center.
I know, but it's 4.5 million of taxpayer dollars. The DCA, the state of New Jersey, owes the residents and taxpayers of the city a more transparent and a refined description of what this money is, or rather, whether it's ours or not. And I don't understand why is it the law department cannot come to this council and represent the people of the city and tell us what this money is going to be used for.
Well,
And
that's
provide us some direction. Because it's just beyond me that 4.5 million in transitional aid has been allocated to a municipality, and the state is telling the municipality that you're going to use it for what we say you're going to use it for. If you don't use it for this purpose, then we're going to, pull it or cancel the appropriation. Now, that does not sit well with me, and it should not sit well with anyone representing the city of Trenton in an elected capacity or an appointed capacity. Now, when can you get some clarity on this in writing from DCA, Mr. Cohen, or Mr. Morelli, or Mr. Kaloji?
Well, so I'm not Mr. Kaloji, Morelli, or Mr. Cohen, but I'm the city administrator, and I am the one that oversees the budget, right? So the money is being given to the city of Trenton for us to put a top-of-the-line crime center in our city, whether it is being directed by DCA to be used, the money to be used just for that purpose. I think it behooves us. I mean, we are concerned about all the shootings and everything. We had a press conference yesterday about innocent people being shot, and here we are arguing about $4.5 million that is going to benefit our residents. That is exactly what is happening right now.
Councilwoman Vaughn.
I'm trying to do the business of the city. I want to know.
Councilwoman Vaughn, let him speak. Please, let him finish his conversation, and then you can come back.
So for us to not see what the function of this money is going to be for our city is really beyond me. It is $4.5 million that DCA is saying you could take it like this or you don't take it at all. So if yes, we can turn our back to $4.5 million, but how responsible is that for our residents when we are standing up and saying this is what we need to get done to reduce crime in our city, and then here we are saying we don't want the money if it's not the way I want it. It's really beyond me. It's totally irresponsible.
It is not. It's totally irresponsible to say or misrepresent the purpose of this money. 4.5 million is not coming to the city of Trenton as it's described. It's going back to the state to build out the state police, the New Jersey State Police. Is that correct, Mr. B.A. Cruz? Is that correct?
The money is coming to the city of Trenton to build a crime center in the city of Trenton.
Is that under the state police or the Trenton Police
The
Department?
state police is the pass-through agency for the city of Trenton to
Again,
receive the grant.
And for the state police or for the Trenton Police Department?
For the Trenton Police Department, and it's in our budget, and I mentioned that
okay, then
so you want me to speak or you don't want me to speak? I mean, this is...
You can answer the question. So if it's for the Trenton Police Department, I just want that the recommendation from DCA amended to say that. That's all.
So DCA made it very clear to us that yes, that we can include the language that was requested by this council. At the Tuesday meeting, we got a hold of DCA on Wednesday. DCA said that they did not have a problem to put that language next to the $4.5 million. It's
No, that's not the language. The language I want on there, and any of my council members can chime in when they, if they like. I want it to say Trenton Police Department, City of Trenton Police Department. I yield my time to the City of Trenton Police Department, not to benefit Trenton. I wanted to say 4.5 million allocated to build out a crime facility for the City of Trenton.
Well, that is exactly what we were going to write on the resolution.
Well, I don't see it there.
It's not an issue.
I don't see it there, B.A. Cruz. I don't see it.
So
is that the language that law going to have DCA amend?
So what the fuck are you talking about? She is so dumb. She's so dumb.
So listen to me. I don't want any profanity used on this line. And I don't want anybody to be, excuse me. I don't want any profanity used on this line, and I don't want anybody being disrespected on this line. So let me just ask the question to Mr. Cruz. Mr. Cruz, you said that DCA allowed you guys to change the language, but I don't have a resolution with the language changed in there. So if they allowed us to change the language, where is that resolution at where the language was changed?
Madam President, we can amend the resolution for the language to reflect what we just spoke about on the floor tonight before the vote is passed. So the clerk can So the clerk and the law department can literally write the 3 or 4 words that need to be added to that line, and it will not be an issue.
Well, what three words are going to be added?
Mr. Koloji. Mr. Koloji. He's not on the line?
I don't see him, Madam President.
Oh, okay, so Peter.
Yes.
So Mr. Cruz said that we can amend the language, which we do all the time. So could you tell me and the council and the entire body exactly what that amendment would say so that we could move forward? Could you tell me what the language read, and then we could take a vote to amend it on the floor?
Correct. And it should be amended. My understanding, it should read TA Police Real-Time Crime Center to be used for the benefit of the residents of Trenton.
So, Councilwoman Vaughn, that's not satisfactory to you?
Is it satisfactory to you, Council President?
Well, I just think
I just stated on the record clearly that I wanted to say that 4.5 million will be built, what we use to build out a crime center for the city of Trenton under the purview of the city of the Trenton Police Department. But that is for the state police. What is it that we as a city don't understand about that?
Your
Now, my
point is,
point again, if it's the state police, then no, I reject that line item, that description. It should read for the city of Trenton Police Department.
so Mr. Cruz,
Yes.
so the language that she wants amended, is it difficult, or is that not what the DCA agreed upon as far as it stating for the city of Trenton?
Yes. Unfortunately, I left my office and I don't have the email that was circulated yesterday, but perhaps the clerk can identify the email that went back and forth between the attorneys as to the language that was ran by DCA and was previously approved as of yesterday. And I don't know if Mr. Cohen has that email.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll put this, we'll do the public hearing, and then we won't vote on the resolution until after we've taken the vote for everything else, and then that'll give you time to go and retrieve the exact language that DCA approved, because I'm thinking myself that it's very simple if we just amend the language and move forward.
Amended on the floor, correct.
Amended on the floor and move forward with the budget. That's where I'm at. I just need to know. I just need the language to be right. So we could we'll open up. We'll have Mr. Berry open up for the public comment section for the budget, and then we won't vote to adopt the budget. That'll be the last thing on the docket that we'll vote on. And that'll give you time to go get the exact language that DCA sent over.
Okay, thank you.
Is that fair?
Yes, I'm gonna try to look it up right now in my computer while the meeting goes on.
While the meeting goes on. Okay.
Yes. In the meantime, Madam President, I would request for Colin Cherry to take on if there's any questions from here on until I can find his email.
Okay. So we're going to move on with the open with the public part of this budget. Mr. Berry, would you open this up for the public?
Yes, before I open it up, I just want to remind everyone, this meeting is being recorded, and I'm muting all participants at this time as to reduce all the auto feedback. At the appropriate time, I ask that you unmute your phone by pressing *6. For a list of other commands that are available to you, press *1. So at this point, the public meeting is open to the public. If you wish to speak, your name and address, please.
Do you want to mute everybody?
Yeah, everybody's.
Unmuted.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone wanting to speak on the budget from the public? Did you check the feature with the hands up, the hands up feature?
Yes,
Mr.
we
Thompson?
are. Yes, I am. I don't see any on my side.
I do. I see someone on my side. The person name is Cheryl Snyder. She's raising her hand.
It's not showing.
Gerald.
Mr. Thompson?
Ask Gerald Snyder to unmute himself.
Mr. Snyder? Mr. Snyder, you can unmute yourself, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, is this for the budget in its entirety, or is it just in regards to what you guys just discussed?
No, it's for the entire budget. You can speak on anything pertaining to the budget.
Okay, my name is Kimberly Booker. I am a resident at 48 Clag Avenue, East Trenton. And I will ask respectfully, will you please pass the budget and move forward with restoration of the East Trenton Library? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Booker. Is there anyone else that has the picture?
Mr. Roland Alexander, state your name.
Roland Alexander. Roland Alexander, 615 North Clinton Avenue. And I'm also asking that you pass the budget so that the fund for the matching grant. You can't hear?
Yes, I can hear you. We can hear you very well, Mr. Alexander.
I'm also asking that the budget be passed so that the matching grant for the East Trenton Library can be matched so that we can have a library over on this part of town so that the kids can have the benefit of not only knowledge, but also the ability to read, to be able sometimes to escape and to explore other avenues of the world besides Trenton that they live in. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Alexander. Anyone else wanting to speak? There was someone else behind Mr. Alexander.
Yes. My name is Faith Ann Pearson, and I live at 145 Sherman Avenue. I also, too, would like to see to it that you pass that budget moving forward for the Trenton Library on Clinton Avenue.
Thank you.
Hello, Council. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Hello, Madam President Kathy McBride. This is Sherelle Snyder. I was having problems unmuting myself.
Okay.
I am a resident here in Trenton at 410 North Olden Avenue, and I also would like to see the budget passed and to move forward with the restoration of the East Trenton Public Library. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. State your name.
My name is Linda Taylor, and I live at 767 North Clinton Avenue. And I would like to see that the budget be that we can get a budget for the East Trenton Library on Clinton and Girard Avenue.
Who's the next person?
Thank you.
Who's the next?
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on the budget and the budget only?
I did.
If you don't see any more hands on the feature, do you see any more hands on the feature?
No.
Okay, well then you...
Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Moved in second. Councilman Blakely?
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell-Wilson?
Yes.
Councilman Harrison?
Yes.
Councilman Michelle?
Yes.
Councilman Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilman Vaughn?
Yes.
And Council President McBride?
Yes.
Okay, while we're moving over to ordinances, I'd like to do the second reading for ordinance 20-41. This ordinance is to authorize the acquisition of certain real property located at 38-43 Fowler's Street, Block 4002, Lot 3.01, commonly known as the Carver Center, pursuant to NJSA 40A:12-3. Purchase price, $250,000. Please. Anyone?
Yes, hi. My name is Kenneth King, 107 Pashley Avenue, Trenton, New Jersey. I'd like to know what the purpose of the city and what they will be using this building and facility for, and where is the funding coming to acquire the building plus the rehab of this building?
That would come from the Director of Housing and Economics. Is the Director on?
I am on.
Could you answer the gentleman's question in reference to 20-41?
Sure. The intent of acquiring this building is to add it to its inventory of city assets and maintaining it as a civic center for recreation, education, and historic uses. We'll be using CDBG funding for the acquisition as well as for the rehab and maintenance of the building.
Does that answer your question, sir?
Yes.
Is there anyone else that want to?
Is there anyone else? Motion to close public hearing.
Hello?
Oh.
So moved. Second.
Councilman Blakely.
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell Wilson.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Councilman Michelle.
Yes.
Councilman Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Vaughn.
Yes.
Council President McBride.
Yes.
Thank you. The consent agenda consists of 20-253, 20-260, 20-254, 20-255, 20-256, and 20-258. There's two that will be omitted, one being pulled, which is 20-257, and there will be a roll call on 20259. 20-253 is the resolution approving the 2021 schedule of meetings of the City Council, ABC Board, and the Board of Health of the City of Trenton. 20-260, a resolution seeking the improvement of COVID-19 testing plan and related resources plan for the City of Trenton.
President McBride.
Yes, I'm going to get to it, Councilman, the ordinance to vote on it to finalize 2040.
Okay, yeah. We didn't vote on it.
I got that. I was just going to let him go ahead and do his consent agenda, and then we will come back and vote on that 20-41. We should have voted on it right after the public hearing. Yes, I got you.
20-254, the resolution awarding a contract to Shy International Corporation awarded through New Jersey State Contract number M-0003-89851 in the amount not to exceed $37,538.35. 20-255, resolution authorizing settlement of a civil suit in the matter of Pauline Allen in the amount of $25,000 representing the city's contribution towards a $95,000 settlement. 20-256, resolution authorizing the acceptance of an
McBride, does he have to read all of these? He doesn't have to read the titles. It's the consent agenda. We know what the titles are. We have the agenda right here.
Councilman, just just let him finish up, and then you can make your you can state your opinion, because he's finished now. That's the last one on the agenda.
Or two more, because one was pulled.
A motion to accept the consent agenda resolutions.
No,
Council President?
No. Mr. Berry.
Yes.
220-257 was removed from the agenda. Did you state that?
Yes, I stated that was pulled from when I started.
Yeah, I didn't hear you. And then did you include 20-258?
Yes, I did.
Okay, but you have to speak up because we're not hearing you.
Okay.
Council President.
Yes.
We're roll calling 20-260, right?
You didn't ask for a roll call. If you want a roll call, we can have it.
Yes. Roll call, please.
Roll call that one?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Berry, he wants 20-260 roll call. Mr. Harrison does.
Okay.
All right. So now we're going to do the consent agenda. You want to roll call 20-260 first. Just roll call that one.
Yes, I would. 20-260. It'll be Councilman Blakely.
Are we doing the consent agenda?
Consent
Or are we
agenda.
doing?
Moving
No.
about the consent agenda.
Mr. Harrison wants to roll call 20-260.
Okay. Yes, I'm voting. Yes, I'm voting. Yes.
Ms. Caldwell-Wilson.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
No.
Councilman Michelle.
Yes.
Councilman Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilman Vaughn.
I'm sorry, what are we voting on? This consent agenda?
No.
No.
Mr. Harrison wanted 20-260 roll call. Mr. Berry, you're going to have to speak up if the council.
But then, I thought Mr. Harrison just voted no for it.
Mr. Harrison did vote no for
He
it.
voted no. Yes, he did.
He wanted it roll call, Councilwoman.
Okay, so I mean, fine. Yes, I want it. Yes, I want it roll call. If he wants to, I'm fine with that.
No. This is the actual vote. Are you voting yes for two?
Oh yes. Okay. Yes. 20-260. Yes. I vote yes.
Okay.
My vote is yes, Mr. Berry.
Okay.
That resolution has passed. When there's a more vote, pronounce it, please.
Okay, I'm going to, since we're doing the pulled ones, 20-259 is for a roll call resolution adopting fiscal year 2020 municipal budget.
We're waiting for Mr. Cruz to get back to us. We're going to let that be the last one because Mr. Cruz wants to get the information.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm ready.
You're ready?
Amended language.
On the amended language.
Yes, on the amended language. Yes, that is correct. So the language that was requested by council at the Tuesday meeting was the phrase "to benefit the city of Trenton." That was the actual language that was requested, and that is the language that was run by DCA. DCA said they did not have a problem with that language to be added to the to that line, to benefit the city of Trenton.
So moved. We're taking a vote.
So we can move to amend that language right now, Mr. Cohen.
Yes, we can.
I'll make a motion to amend the language.
Second.
Okay.
Councilman Blakely.
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell-Wilson.
Yes.
Councilman Harrison.
Yes.
Councilman Michelle.
Yes.
Councilman Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilwoman Vaughn.
No.
President McBride.
Yes.
Well, can I say something?
No.
Not yet.
Okay.
So now that the language has been amended, now we will be voting on that. So I'll make a motion.
Was there a motion to amend? Was there a motion to amend the 72 to the 77?
No.
So no, there was no, Mr. Cruz, you didn't ask for that. We needed to amend the numbers, the correct number?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Cohen.
Yes.
You have to let us know. Okay, so we're moving to amend. What piece of this, Janet? Could you speak it into the record?
For the miscellaneous revenue, on the first page of the resolution, to amend. On the first page, it says miscellaneous revenue, section B, state aid without offsetting appropriations. It said 72,714,560. It needs to say 77,214,560. That needs to be
a motion to amend.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and second. Councilman Blakely?
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell-Wilson?
Yes.
Councilman Harrison?
Yes.
Councilman Michelle?
Yes.
Councilman Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Vaughn?
No.
That's to change the number, do the number correction, Councilwoman.
I said no.
Okay, got you.
Council President McBride?
Yes.
Okay, majority?
Yes.
Yes,
So
okay.
there were two amendments that were adopted to the budget.
We're here the council meeting?
Is that all the amendment? Is that all the amendments?
Yes.
Okay, so what are we doing now? Are we moving to pass, to adopt the budget?
We're moving to adopt.
Correct.
So
Do I have a motion?
moved.
Second?
Second.
Councilman Blakely?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wilson?
Yes.
Councilman Harrison?
Yes.
Councilman Michelle?
Yes.
Councilman Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Vaughn?
No.
Council President McBride?
Yes.
I just love when she yells no. It's my favorite.
It's been approved.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to open for public comment.
Well,
we didn't approve
the consent agenda.
I'm sorry, we have to move to adopt the consent agenda.
So moved. Caldwell-Wilson.
Second.
Councilman Blakely?
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell-Wilson?
Yes.
Councilman Harrison?
Yes.
Councilman Michelle?
Yes.
Councilman Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Vaughn?
I'm sorry.
Councilwoman Vaughn?
What is this for?
This is to
Consent
adopt
agenda.
the consent
Oh,
agenda.
yes.
President McBride,
Yes.
adopted. Now we can move into public comment.
No, we can't. We have not properly voted on ordinance 2041.
Correct. Stand correct.
I thought we just voted on that. Jerome.
That was the consent agenda. The ordinance has to be voted on separately.
Excuse me, that's
We
right.
voted on the ordinance. That was once we amended the numbers, then we took the vote to adopt. And
For 2041?
2041 is the Carver Center, Fowler Center.
We didn't vote on the Carver Center.
No, we didn't. That's my mistake.
Yes, we have to vote on it.
I'm thinking we voted on 2059 to 2259.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is
No,
241.
this is
So I make a motion that we approve 2041.
Second,
Yeah, second.
Councilman Blakely,
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell-Wilson,
Yes.
Councilman Harrison,
Yes.
Councilman Michaud,
Yes.
Councilman Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Vaughn,
Yes.
President McBride.
Yes.
Okay, now we can move into public comment.
Madam President?
Yes.
Yes, Director Delisle had a resolution that he wanted to walk on, and he was waiting for the right time to speak.
So did the council get his resolution? Did everybody get the resolution?
Yes.
Yes.
All the council members?
Yes.
Does everyone have the resolution?
Yes.
Okay,
I do.
Great.
Yes.
Councilman Rodriguez?
Yes, if it's for the repairs of the businesses, yes, I got the copy to the internet.
Okay.
Copy here.
No, I don't have a copy either.
So, Mr. Cohen, we have to vote to walk it on, right?
That is correct.
And I'll make a motion to walk it on.
To amend the agenda to walk on this particular resolution.
Yep. Second.
Who seconded?
Harrison, Councilman Harrison.
Okay, great.
Councilman Blakely,
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell-Wilson,
Yes.
Councilman Harrison,
Yes.
Councilman Michaud,
Yes.
Councilman Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Vaughn,
Yes.
Council President McBride.
Yes. And now we'll be voting to adopt it.
Yes. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Blakely,
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell-Wilson,
Yes.
Councilman Harrison,
Yes.
Councilman Michaud,
Yes.
Councilman Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Vaughn.
I just have a question. Was it read out to the public as to what the resolution is?
What?
Was it read out to the public and on the record?
No, it was not.
I know, I didn't, so it needs to be read.
Wait a minute. I hear public here. Public speaking now. Mr. Delisle?
Yes, I'm here.
Before we took the vote, the resolution was not read. No one has any understanding as to what it is, because it was not read, Council President.
I don't have it.
Read it. You want to take this time, Mr. Delisle, to read it and explain the resolution?
Sure. Do you want me to read the resolution in its entirety or just the heading?
No, you don't have to read it in its entirety. You could just give a brief description. You can read the heading, and then you can give the public a description of what we voted on.
Sure, happy to. The resolution is a resolution authorizing the use of retail facade business improvement funds for emergency repairs caused by riots. So the department has a grant program that was authorized by council in September of 2018 for business for facade improvements for Trenton businesses. And we have about $241,500 left in the account. And as we all know, there were a number of businesses that were damaged during the protests and the riots this past Sunday. So we'd like to use these funds to give out small grants of up to $5,000 to Trenton businesses to help repair those storefronts, the windows and the doors that were damaged. So this is funding that we already have in place. It's for very similar uses, facade improvements. Why we're asking council to do this is the previous fund required a 50% match, and it was for grants between $5,000 and $20,000. So we're asking council to not have a match requirement for small grants up to $5,000 for stores that were sustained damage during the rioting.
All righty, so we would like to...
I have to cast, Council President, I have to now cast my vote. And my vote is yes.
Adopted.
No, Miss McBride didn't vote yet.
My vote is yes.
Sorry.
Oh, excuse me. Before we go into public comment, can we make sure that you remember that your phones will be muted? You have to unmute them to speak. Thank you. Public comment is now open.
Yes, this is Sherry Correct. In regards to this grant that was just passed, I know with other things that was funded, you know, there's no proper, you know, are these businesses going to submit, you know, what do you have paperwork prepared for them to fill out? And also, do they understand that they have to at least list what the cost would be for the repairs? Or you were just going to, they're just going to just say that they need $5,000 or whatever, and we're just going to just cut a check for $5,000. What's the process? I mean, what's the how are we going to go about doing this? How are we going to ensure that these funds are going to be used for what the purpose of what you just approved?
So Ms. Garrett will answer. Somebody will get back to you after the public has spoken. Then we'll come in and answer the questions. Have the various department heads answer the questions for the council.
Thank you, Council President.
Anyone else?
Mr. Thompson, do you see any other hands raised?
Anyone else?
Hello.
Charlie.
State your name and your address.
My name is Veronica Davis, 383 St. Joe's Avenue, and I was wondering if this money, $5,000, will be in addition to the insurance that the stores have, or are we going to deduct it?
That question will be answered at the end of the public comment.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie C.
Mr. C?
Charlie C. Charlie K.
Charlie K?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, members of the council. My name is Charles Gradeville. I'm a resident of New Brunswick, New Jersey. I'm here today to ask a few questions about the emergency curfew that's been put in place. Can someone tell me under what authority was that done? How does it work? What are the policies and the enforcement and the punishments for violations? And I may have some follow-up questions based on your responses to those.
Okay, the way this works is that we put we ask our questions, and at the end of all the civic comments, because behind all of the public comments, then someone from the administration or from the council will answer your question. So is that it for you? Just hold on the line and we'll come back to you with an answer.
Okay, I actually have to get going, but I wanted to get the answer now if possible. Can anyone answer what authority he has to implement curfew?
That's the way the system works. That's the way the system works. So you ask your question, and at the end of the public comment, then someone will come back and answer the questions.
They'll answer on the record at this meeting, or
yes, on the record. On the record.
Okay, and this meeting is being recorded, and it'll be available where?
Yes, it will be available to the public within, I think, the very next day or a couple of days. The audio part of it.
Okay, well, in that case, I'd like to ask a few additional questions, and I'll tune in to the video to get my answers. But I wanted to ask, how long does the council foresee this curfew continuing? Did the council have any role in implementing the curfew? Were you asked if you wanted it? Did you sign off on it? Do you have any authority to repeal it or change it? Or is this totally the mayor's doing? And please explain why it's necessary to continue a curfew indefinitely or several days after the disturbance. I don't understand why tonight, all of you can't go walk your dog after 7 p.m. or, why businesses have to be closed and why you can't enjoy the freedom that we have as Americans in the city of Trenton. I don't think that we are the land of the free until 7 p.m. I saw an image of a military vehicle out in the streets of Trenton on Sunday night, and I'm deeply concerned about the direction our country's going and things like blanket curfews that are implemented without a democratic process and allowed to continue indefinitely, and ultimately things that restrict the public's right to use public streets and can lead to dangerous problems like we saw in Asbury Park the other night, where they tried to implement a curfew at the last minute and police were beating up juveniles. And when they were caught on video doing that, they arrested a journalist. So I think that having a curfew is the type of policy that could lead to more dangerous interactions between police and citizens, and that's exactly the type of thing that we're trying to avoid and trying to heal at this time in our country. And I don't think that a curfew is the right way to go, and I hope that you'll be able to answer my questions, and I hope that some of you might even agree with me and speak out against military vehicles being used in the streets of Trenton and the public being denied the right to go for a walk or to enjoy the city that they love. I don't live in Trenton, but I do have a special place in my heart, having been involved in the past there, and I'm very concerned about the direction the city's moving, and I am concerned if the council has no role to play here in terms of lifting this curfew and restoring people's right to use the streets. I hope some of you can speak on this before the meeting ends, and I hope that this is the last time that people's right to be on city streets is ever infringed upon. It's one thing if you've got one block where there's a police emergency or a fire or something, you have to clear the block. That's one thing. It's another thing to implement a citywide, this is not an American thing. We're not supposed to have entire cities on lockdown indefinitely because there was one unfortunate incident. I think that, the people of Trenton deserve better. The people of New Jersey deserve better. And as an American citizen, I'm deeply concerned about this. And I hope the council will take my words to heart and respond accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
If you don't see
no one else, let's move into civic comments.
Are you asking for a motion?
Yes.
Motion to close public comment?
Second.
Yes. Councilman Blakely? Councilman Blakely? Councilwoman Caldwell-Wilson?
Yes.
Councilman Harrison? Councilman Harrison?
You have to tell them to unmute themselves. *6.
Council should be unmuted.
He muted himself.
Mute. Yes?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It keeps blocking me. I don't know why.
Councilman Blakely? Okay. Councilman Michelle?
Yes.
Councilman Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilman Vaughn?
What is this, the closed civic comments?
No,
Public
comment.
Oh, yes.
President McBride?
Yes.
We move into civic comments.
Councilman Blakely. Councilwoman Caldwell-Wilson.
Not at this time.
Councilman Harrison. Mr. Harrison, you have to unmute yourself.
Unmute.
No, not at this time. You hear me?
Yes. Councilman Michelle,
Nothing at this time.
Councilman Rodriguez,
No comments.
Councilwoman Wong.
Yes, I will just follow up with very quickly with one of the residents who questioned the process of how the funds for the businesses that were impacted by the riots are going to be overseen. And I did notice at the end of Mr. Delisle's resolution, because I did read it, and it did explicitly state that each time an allocation is going to be made, it will come through this council. And Mr. Delisle could correct me on that, but I believe that's what one of the provisions stated in the resolution. And I just want to thank Mr. Critol. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but I think anybody in the state of New Jersey who comes to the City of Trenton's council meetings has a right to do so. The City of Trenton is the capital city. Everybody, every resident, every taxpayer in the state of New Jersey should have an interest in the state.
So you,
Mr. Thompson.
Everyone in New Jersey should care about what happens in the capital city, because the capital city belongs to every New Jerseyan. So anybody who's shaking their head like Mr. Critovoli didn't have a right to be here and state what he said, was just appalling. But nonetheless, I concur many of the things that.
I don't know who that is.
You know, I don't know who that is, but Mr. Thompson, you need to find that person and you need to call them out. Because it's very
Mr. Harris.
Harrison.
Mr. Harrison.
That's very disrespectful now.
I'm muted.
So, you know, because the city of Trenton, since Governor Murphy executed his executive order, and his executive order was very comprehensive, and it was compliant with our Constitution and civil rights and civil liberties. And really, there was no reason for any mayor to usurp or add an additional layer of a curfew of sorts. So I felt I had a lot of concerns when that occurred, the first curfew, and then he amended it because he didn't implement it properly. And then now we get another one with as the New Jersey resident stated, with no end. So I, as a council member, I'm concerned about it, and I want Trentonians' rights and civil liberties to be not infringed upon. And I hope the mayor rescinds lifts that curfew very soon and immediately. I was one of these citizens and the council members who immediately, when he instituted the first curfew that usurped the executive order of Governor Murphy, I wrote to the governor's office and complained about the mayor's usurpation of his executive order. And then Mayor Gussior quickly amended it because he was in violation of the executive order. And Governor Murphy clearly stated that there's one state, there's one governor, and there's one executive order. So why would the mayor of Trenton, the capital city of our state, decides to implement a second curfew. Now, and there are a lot of issues and sensitivities around the city, like in its demographic. We are a city of 85% people of color. Curfews implemented in our cities, and you look around the surrounding other towns, they're not subjected to such restrictions. So we should all take careful, examine these type of policies because they're very concerning. And every time I see an elected official executing such powers, I will escalate it, as I did the first time, and to the gentleman who spoke earlier about the same issue. I am concerned. I am an elected official in the city of Trenton, and I know a lot of other constituents and residents in the city is concerned about it too. And suffice it to say, a lot of those citizens are not even abiding by it. And the other concern that I have about the curfew that I noticed, it affects the businesses and the economic, the economics of our city. I know after 7 p.m., that's kind of still dinner time. And many of the residents are going over to Morrisville, Pennsylvania, currently, and purchase food and invest in their economy. And that's business that could be here in the city of Trenton or our restaurant owners. So I think the mayor and even his economic development director should raise their hand and lift that curfew immediately because it's impacting our city more ways than one. Many, many residents are going over the bridge, taking our money out of this district, out of this municipality, and put it to another state and another economy, whereby Trenton is a distressed economy, and we need every dime we can get in our businesses as well. So, and the other thing that I want to just mention very quickly is the usurpation, the state authority, and when elected officials and appointed officials, get into power and they overreach, just like we're seeing with DCA and this $4.5 million allocation. Now, I just want to alert the city of Trenton and all of its residents, ones that are listening, and take it back to your neighbors. That $4.5 million, when that state police facility is built out, you take note of how much it benefits Trenton. And you remember every single individual who sat on this call and neglected to challenge it. Because again, the state police services all the 561 municipalities in the state. So how much of that facility is going to benefit Trenton? So I'm very disappointed in my colleagues because, again, they did not stand up for Trenton. And our police department, if you go past our police department, it is a toxic dump. It's in need of a new building, a new facility, a new everything. The fact that our first responders, our police department, that provide and protect this neighborhood, our city, subjected to such a poor working environment. And yet we want to give the state police $4.5 million to build a facility that could have gone into our police department, Trenton Police Department. So I will just say my council has sold out the Trenton Police Department, gave that $4.5 million to the New Jersey State Police under some bogus pretext that it benefits Trenton. Well, in the coming days, coming weeks and months and year, when that facility is built out, let's see, Trentonians, how much it benefits Trenton. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. I would like if Mr. Sawyer, Director Sawyer is on the line, if he could give us an update on COVID-19 and the numbers. Is Director Sawyer on the line?
On the line?
Yes, he's on.
Could he please give us an update of the COVID-19?
Unmute yourself.
Director Sawyer?
Muted? He's on.
So in the meantime,
Hear me? Hello?
Yes. Yes.
All right. What I was saying was that we tested 16 people in the West Ward today. And so far we have 57 people that had fatalities. And we have a total of let me pull these numbers up for you.
57 were hot. Out of 60?
All right, so we have 16 new people under investigation as of today, a total of 3,293. 1,004 of those were confirmed, so now we have 3,549 confirmed in the city of Trenton, 23 people hospitalized, 20 at home, 9 healthcare workers, 1,771 males, 1,786 females, 16 are under the age of 11, 13 between the ages of 12 and 17, 1,974 between the ages of 18 and 65, and 533 over the age of 65. And as I mentioned earlier, 57 deaths. We continue testing in all 4 wards, starting on Mondays, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, beginning with the East Ward, East, South, North, and West, daily. The county has a site now in the city of Trenton on Broad Street. And I believe that's it. Any other questions or concerns?
I wanted to know about the health director, health and human service director from the state said that they were going to have 5 sites up and running in the city of Trenton. Where are we at with those 5 sites that she spoke about?
I didn't hear her mention 5. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Council President. I think what they were referring to are the 4 sites that the city had been operating, plus the 1 site that the county will operate.
Okay, so they were talking about the things that were already being done that did not even appear to be near enough. Okay, so
Council President, I don't mean to interrupt, but the public is raising concern that they can't get in to speak. They can't get into the system. I'm getting text messages from my ward.
The public, but the public portion of this has
I know,
passed.
but I'm just saying that they've been trying to get in all evening. So we just want to make note of that for the next time.
Mr. Thompson.
We will make note of it.
He's Mr. Thompson, you're on our technical supporter. Do you hear that?
Yes, I did. I checked the line, but the line is open. I hope they got the updated number because the line is open, and I've seen people come in and out, enter in and out, guests come in and out of the line, dialing in. So I will check again.
Okay, so now, the gentleman had asked the administration about the curfew. And I think that he asked for someone from the administration to speak to it. And he asked if the council members had any part in that. The answer to that is no, the council did not have any part in the curfew. The administration would have to speak to that solely because it was solely done by the mayor, by the administration. And then I would need for to speak on the on election day. Election day was moved from June the 2nd, I believe it was, until July the 7th.
Correct.
Yes, and so what they're doing now under the executive order from the governor is that they're mandating us to vote by mail. They are going to allow one centralized polling place to be open on that particular day. So if you don't receive your vote by mail ballot, you need to get in touch with the clerk's office for 640 South Broad Street or Board of Elections. You need to reach out because this thing is going to be done by mail, and they still haven't worked out where that centralized polling place will be. So that's for the public. The election, the primary election will be held July the 7th. It will be a mail-in vote, and there will be one centralized polling place. And so the county, along with the city, have to determine where that centralized polling place is going to be because it hasn't been determined yet. So that's information that I think you all should have. And I want to thank everyone for coming on. I think that
Council President?
Excuse me, Ms. Vaughn. Mr. Delisle, if you're still on the line,
I'm here.
Could you speak to the question that the gentleman had and the young lady had in reference to that $5,000 loan? One of the young ladies wanted to know if you would, how would you be tracking the $5,000? The other one wanted to know, so is it a loan? Does it have to be paid back, or is it a grant? And how do you track the grant? Do they have to bring in receipts? Do you have an application? What is the process for them to get that $5,000?
Sure, Madam President, happy to. On Monday and Tuesday, we went around and surveyed Trenton businesses to the best of our ability and took note on the record of all the businesses that were damaged. So we took inventory of what we could find. We will create an application in GovPilot that will be available online, similar to the business loan program, where folks can enter in an application online. We will follow up with them and also with the police for any police reports. Again, I think one of the earlier questions was how do we make sure that they actually sustained damage during that and we weren't just giving away money without any records. It is we will also ask for people's insurance information so that make sure that we are not paying for something that could have been covered by insurance. And it is an up to amount of $5,000, not a flat fee. So we'll pay for whatever. They also have to do the repairs and provide evidence of the repairs. And Councilwoman, the resolution indicates that the department will provide a monthly report to the council on the grants that are distributed, so that there's some reporting on a monthly basis back to the council.
Thank you, and I hope that answers the questions that they had out. Thank you, Director.
You're welcome.
And I still wanted someone from the administration to speak to the gentleman's question about the curfew. And then I wanted to make a correction because they updated the polling sites that they were going to allow us to have from 1 to 14. So they are going to allow 14 polling places to be open in the city on July the 7th. We still have to get more information because we have to find out where those polling places will be. And so we will get that information out to you via the city's website and other social media and things of that nature. And we might have to do a robocall because all of these changes, the seniors have to be aware of all of these changes because they're so used to having a polling place right in their building, and that might not occur this time. So we have to get that information out to the seniors. Is there anyone from the administration that could speak to the gentleman's question about the curfew? Mr. Cruz?
Hi, Madam President. I'm sorry, I was unmuting myself. I believe, Madam President, that the best person to discuss the curfew in legal terms would be Mr. Cohen, who is here representing the law department. This, as we are all aware, one of the powers that the mayor has is actually to enact legislation. Yes, Madam Councilwoman Robin Vaughn. Yes, whether you like it or not, the mayor is actually the person that has the power. Whether you believe it or not. And I will leave the rest to Mr. Cohen.
Mr. Cohen, would you try to answer the gentleman's question?
Certainly. I have not actually seen the latest curfew order. I have seen prior curfew orders, and the mayor did impose curfews as part of his emergency proclamations based on authority in one of the city ordinances that was enacted back in 1968 in response to the civil disturbances that were taking place then. So he invoked that ordinance that's on the books in order to protect the public safety when there's an escalation of violence or other public disturbances that are determined by the mayor to endanger public safety. So my understanding of my general legal advice is that when these curfew orders or other emergency proclamations are being imposed, that the basic civil rights and human rights of Trentonians should be respected and upheld in that regard, and that the curfew would be should remain in effect to protect against incidents of violence to persons and property. So that's, and I did previously research, my research revealed that the mayor's curfew orders and emergency proclamations were derived from statutory authority, giving mayors of municipalities those emergency powers.
So, Mr. Cohen, so if you read that, could you share with the public what the Attorney General's call was to the city attorney and to the mayors, to the administration? Could you share that with the public?
Sure. My understanding and recollection was that the issue was presented to the Attorney General's office, and the Attorney General responded that that the legal authority of the mayor to impose these emergency proclamations and curfew orders were not being challenged by the state, by the Attorney General's office.
Are you sure that that's all that they wrote? Because as my recollection is that they made the mayor and Mr. Morelli and the law department issue changes in that order. So when you say that they said that it's within the mayor's power, are you leaving out the part that they made the mayor? They told the mayor that he had to revise that curfew?
I do recall that there were revisions instituted after these conversations. I don't know, I was not privy to the actual communication that occurred. What was represented to me was that the Attorney General was not legally challenging the curfew, the mayor's authority. And there may very well have been suggestions in terms of changes.
Okay, and so now the governor is moving to open up the state in a couple days. What is the administration? How have the administration prepared for the opening of the city of Trenton? Because the governor is moving to open up the entire state by June the 8th. I believe that date is. I could be wrong. Someone can correct me if I don't have the correct date. But I believe that the governor is moving for June the 8th. And so how are we prepared in the city of Trenton to open up?
Does the administration want to respond? I do.
Yeah, Madam President.
Yes, go right ahead.
Yes, so at this time we are waiting for the governor. As you are all aware, the governor is actually opening up certain places in stages. And so as far as if you mean citywide businesses, we depend on the governor. Now, when it comes to opening up businesses for residents coming and doing business within city premises, then yes, then that is the role that we actually play, and we are preparing every day pretty much to enact any policies necessary to make sure that we continue to provide the services to the residents. The city is actually one of the few cities throughout the state that remained open through the entire COVID emergency, providing services every day of every week without stop, with the exception of holidays. They were basic services. Yes, we were not fully open, but people can call and services could be provided. As far as other things outside of the city, as we are all aware, we are at the mercy of the governor.
Okay. All righty. So that is it for me today. Again, I would like to thank each and every one of you for joining us this evening, and we'll be talking in length about the violence in our community. We cannot remain silent about that. And my personal opinion is that you have a curfew, but children are being shot at 9 o'clock in the morning. So we need to revisit that. We need to understand how we're going to protect our children, how we're going to come together as a community and start joining certain committees to go out and be a part of a change in our city. And as far as the city hall is concerned, I would hope that the administration would move to actually putting up plexiglass, because we spoke to this in some of those offices. I know that we need plexiglass in the clerk's office. I'm thinking that we need it on the dais. I just don't think that we can go back to business as usual. I think that we have to make changes starting in that city hall and then throughout the community. I did want a report from the councilman for the Board of Education, the liaison, about how the Board of Education is moving forward with their plans for September, because school is still in, the sessions are still in. I think the Trenton Public Schools are closed June the 18th, but I would like to get some type of report back from the superintendent and the Board of Education board members on what their actual plan is for the children moving forward. And then I would like to know if all of the, if they're going to have thermometers in the schools to test their temperatures. How are they going to handle the children? Because our children, I know the smaller children will not keep masks on. So there's a lot of questions that have not been answered, and I would like to get those answered. And I will be working diligently on this crime piece, because we cannot move throughout this community with this level of violence happening every day without having things put in place. We're about to open up for the summer feed program. I need to talk to Director Richardson to see what her plans is for the summer feed program. Those are the type of things that we must talk about before we get to that point. So I will be calling each and one of the directors up, trying to get some insight on what their plans are in moving this city forward when the governor gradually opens us up. And when it's time for the children to go back to school, we need to see what your plans are. We need to understand what is going on, how you plan on protecting the residents of the city of Trenton and the children in the city, and how the community could come together as stakeholders to help us protect our city, as far as just doing little things like being on a committee, because I'm never asking anybody but the police to be on the front line, but small things like being on committees to help us gather information so that we'll know how to deal with our situation a little better. Again, I thank each and every one of you for
Council President, before you close. Council President, before you close.
No,
I just want to say one thing for the residents. They can't get into the call if they're dialing in directly. If they're not using the link, they cannot participate in a call if they just dial in. Everybody who just dialed in cannot interact in our meeting. Only the folks who went directly through the link. So I think that should be told to everybody.
You could just let us know.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Berry. I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.